Hey there folks, Mark Johnson, Tech Snobs. Going to do a head-to-head. We got the three latest and greatest tablets from Microsoft with the Surface 2, Samsung with the Galaxy Note 10.1. Now this is the 2014 edition, and then we got the iPad Air. So just starting right off from the jump, looking at the hardware and design of each of these. As you can see, the Surface 2 is the bigger of all three. It is the biggest and heaviest of all three, but it does have a integrated kickstand in the back. That allows you to, prop the Surface up on a table or device, and it goes back in two different angles. So it's definitely pretty cool with that aspect. When you look at the Galaxy, it's definitely probably the best design Samsung has come up with yet. What I do like about it, they do kind of have the fake leather stitching on the back, and you can kind of see, very similar to the Note 3, but definitely feels nice. You have the stylus right at the top, right-hand corner. And, they're definitely best, design tablet today, but it's still plastic. Then you have the iPad Air, which is by far, the thinnest and lightest full-size tablet you'll find on the market today. But it's definitely very well built, as Apple typically does with their product. Very reminiscent of the iPad mini that came out last year. But this thing's very, very light, so definitely keep that in mind. Looking at some of the pros and performance and operating system, all of these perform very, very well. I haven't really had any issues with with any of them at all when it comes to performance. The Surface in particular has performed very well, much better than last year's version of the Surface RT. Everything's just quick and fluid and fast. You could jump in between stuff. It's just great. Overall, fast tablet, and I just like a lot of things it does. Now, obviously, it's a niche product in a lot of ways, just for the simple fact you have to get everything from the App Store, from Microsoft's App Store. You can't install any standard Windows apps that you may have bought on your desktop or laptop from over the many years. Looking at the Note tablet, the perk of this device is that it does the most out of all of these things. It's crazy. It comes with the stylus. You can press on the stylus, and it has a button on here. You can do pen window. It does multitasking probably about just as good as anything out there on the market today, and it's just great at that. I press the button and I can click on pen window and bring up multiple windows doing different things at one time. Now I will say this, the specs on all three of these, the Surface 2, it has a NVIDIA Tegra 4. Much better than last year's. The Samsung's got it's got an 8-core processor in there. It's like a 1.7 and a 1.3, I believe. It's got 2 gigs of RAM in here too, I believe. Let's just double check the RAM. I know the Surface is 2 gigs of RAM for sure. And you know what? In spite of me saying all that, it's still kind of weird because out of all three of these, the Samsung one feels the slowest. And I think a lot of that is just Android in itself and TouchWiz, what they put on top, more so TouchWiz, I would say, and it just happens to seem to kind of lag behind a little bit, when it comes to messing around with the device. So that's definitely a little unfortunate, but it kind of is what it is. But it's still very fast. It's just that it's not as fast as I would probably think it would be, and that's just the truth with that. It does come with 16 gigs of storage. Surface claims it comes with 32, but it really only comes with 16. And actually, this does have 3 gigs of RAM. So it's got 3 gigs of RAM. So when you talk about the specs by far, if you're in the specs and numbers, the Galaxy Note 10.1 2014 edition, that's a handful. Comes with everything. 2560 by 1600 display, best display I've ever seen on a mobile device. And last but not least, we get to the iPad, which honestly just has, just a great blend of everything, with all these tablets. It just has very fast performance. It's typical iOS. If you like Apple, if you like iOS, you're going to love this one. Everything about it is just great when it comes to speed and performance. They've never really usually had an issue with that. All the latest and greatest apps and games and things you can imagine. So that, that's great. And it ultimately really just is your preference. I really can't say which one of these is really better than the other one because they all do things very, very well. They all have very similar applications. But really, if you want the latest and greatest apps, you're definitely going to want to use, get an Apple or Android device. And that's just the bottom line. So you got a lot of options and speed with the iPad Air. It's got the A7 chip, 64-bit, OS, and they've optimized some of their apps, such as like GarageBand, to kind of take advantage of that. I've personally never used GarageBand. It's the first time I'm launching it. So let's see what, play, record, share. You can do all kinds of cool stuff. It just has the apps that anything you would think of. So. Apple does a great job with their apps, and they've always done so. And then another thing, looking at the iPad, you also have the ability to have the 4G LTE connectivity right out of the gate. Currently, this is the only model out of these three that you can get data service with right out the jump. Now, it's going to be one coming for the Note 2, the Note 10.1 2014 edition, but I just definitely want to let you know this one's $549, 16 gig for the Note, $449 for the Surface, and then the iPad starts at $499. Now, if you want the data for the iPad, that puts it up another $129, and then there is no data option available for the Surface. Probably won't be till next year, but I definitely I like a lot of these. All three of these tablets. It's just one of those things where you only can use one at a time, and I think. I really do like the screen on this, on the Note 10.1. The iPad's got a great screen as well at 2048 by 1536. Put the brightness up a little bit. It just looks, just as great as it did last year when they came out with the Retina iPad for the first time. So keep that in mind as well. But ultimately, my money will probably stick with the iPad or the Note. The Surface, as much as I like it, I do have a Surface Pro, so I definitely think that does more. Obviously it does more than the Surface 2, but it's one of those things where the Surface for $449, I think if they can get this price drop, if they were selling this at $449 and included this keyboard dock, this would be a very, very good deal, because you can use all the Microsoft Word apps and so forth out the box. But because it doesn't, you pretty much have to buy that additional accessory. And then, with Samsung, they throw everything in it, including the kitchen sink. I mean, it's got literally every feature from, all the stuff from the GS4. You can do multi-window. You can have two things running at one time. It's definitely pretty cool, like you always could. You also can, it just has everything. It's got all the motion stuff, the mirroring. I believe it has the motion stuff on the website as well, where you can wave your hand across the screen. Of course, the stylus work. I even got my Surface Pro stylus here, and I can use that to type on the screen. So it's just a great product, but it is expensive. I mean, it's $549, and that's for the 16 gig, and then if you want 32, it's $599. So pretty much same pricing around as the iPad for the most part. So keep that in mind. But definitely. You got a lot to choose from this holiday season. I mean, you got Samsung's got a lot. Yeah, Microsoft has a lot, and then Apple, they still have their Retina iPad Mini to come out as well. So which one will you choose? Which one of these is for you? Only time will tell. Thanks for watching. Be sure to give this video a thumbs up if you liked it. Take care.